live here on Mike Drop Sports. What's up, TD? What's up, everybody? Make sure you're hitting that like button. A little bit of a different time here tonight, about 7 o'clock, almost 7 o'clock. Appreciate y'all for stopping through. We probably won't have all the regulars today. We'll probably be missing some people, considering it is at an odd time, a different time of the day than we usually go at it. Appreciate TD being in there right prompt. I appreciate your brother. But we're going to talk a little bit of Pittsburgh Steelers news, notes, and analysis here from today. You had some training camp stuff going on. You had a big night last night with Friday Night Lights going off. You had a pretty physical practice. There's some injuries to talk about. You had seen Broderick Jones in that elbow brace, according to Chris Carter from Locked On Steelers and the Post Gazette, I believe he's with, talking about that he on Twitter, on X, talking that he did complete all the 11-on-11 practices, portions of the practice yesterday. So that's a bright note. You also saw Patrick Queen go down with an ankle. According to reports, that's not of any type of significance, so nothing to worry about there. So I'm sure you'll see him get some maintenance days here as things move forward. Also, there's some linebacker stuff going on. Other than that, I believe Jeremiah Moon, Kyron Johnson, people like that dealing with some injuries. You still have Rodney Williams dealing with that shoulder, that AC joint injury. So, yeah, injuries starting to pile up, but they're, injuries, nothing really huge yet as of other than Roman Wilson. So you have Roman Wilson with his ankle expected to miss some time there. So we'll see how that all unfolds and how these guys start to heal up here as the training camp portion moves forward. But you've seen many people or many players get injured, but get good reps last night too. So there's some some positives and some pluses out there for the Steelers. So we're pumped about that. What's up, George T? What's up, G Stacks? Light practice from what I see here. Friday Night Lights was physical. It was ultra physical from what I had seen. Then you saw today, you saw some guys get beat today. On the offensive side of the football, you saw Dan Moore Jr. have a horrible day, losing 3 reps in a row, sacks and shit like that. I can't remember all what I saw reported, but it was 3 bad beats in a row for Dan Moore Jr. And then you look at some of the things, some of the reports you're seeing the guys like Troy Fautanu starting to come on. Does this start to get this ball rolling with moving Broderick Jones over to the left side, getting Troy Fautanu in place at that right tackle position to where he doesn't feel uncomfortable. He doesn't feel any type of issue there moving into that position. So you start to wonder. Things are starting to unfold here, man. And that's exactly what we want, man. These things, these storylines to start to, take shape, take and unfold a little bit. Let's get to the chat a little bit. Good evening, Steeler Nation. It's from G Stacks. I'd seen something about the Marvin Leal. Somebody put Ryan Dorn. What's up, man? Is the Marvin Leal going to make the squad this year? You've seen a lot of praise, Ryan, for DeMarvin Leal whenever the pads weren't on. I know that I had seen several reports talking about, hey, guys cut down a little bit, maybe found a little bit of his sweet spot in terms of playing weight, things of that nature. The speed that he was playing with, the agility, getting sideline to sideline, things of that nature. You thought a lot of people were reporting, man, he's doing well. And I wanted to caution you guys, DeMarvin Leal, anybody in shorts and a helmet, it's a different breed of football when the pads come on. And you haven't been hearing his name. Now, does he make this team? I'm going to say probably, I'm thinking this is probably, one of the last few times, though, that he really gets a chance to figure it out. So we'll see how that goes. But I would say probably. I would say that there's a good chance. I'm going to do my 53-man roster projection here probably, let's say next week sometime. I'll give you a projection, and then we'll try to break it down right before the final cuts and all that kind of stuff, too. G-Stacks and backs on backers was dog versus dog. Yeah, you saw Jalen Warren get pummeled, man, a couple times and actually get his visor broke. That's how physical that was last night. They really brought it with some big time physicality last night. And you have to be pumped if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan to see this type of practice day in and day out, really, guys. Every time that they are getting a chance to get out there and get that really physical style play put onto the football field, it's there. And you're seeing it from both sides of the ball. You're seeing it from the offense. You're seeing it from the defense. You're seeing it not only in play, but after the play and the chippiness and things of that nature. So that's a good thing, too. What's up, Sean? What do you mean, Adi Pataki or whatever your name is? Sorry, dude, I couldn't pronounce it. What happened? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Landon Roberts is bringing it. Yeah, he brings it. Guys, that's too what you expect from a guy like Landon Roberts, man. 10 years? Something like that. Definitely double-digit year guy. Super Bowl winning guy. A guy that's played at a high level in this league for a long time. A guy that can really thump downhill, man, and really put the hurt on somebody. What's up, Janice, Brandon Prez? What are your thoughts on the Chargers under Harbaugh within 2-3 years? I think the Chargers actually under Coach Harbaugh have an actual chance to succeed, and I say that for one major reason. You have Justin Herbert out there. That guy's he's the real deal for sure. And I definitely think that they can succeed. And I definitely think you're going to start to see them involved in the playoff picture. This AFC as a whole is going to be tough. And I feel this is where the best collection of quarterbacks are inside of the AFC is what I'm talking as a whole. This is the best collection of talent in my eyes in the NFL is on the AFC side of the football. I really, truly believe that. If you look at it as a whole, I definitely think that the AFC and teams like the Chargers, teams that are up and coming, teams that, have quality talent that maybe if they were in the NFC, they would be real, contenders to look inside of the playoff picture, G-Stacks, do you believe this style of play on both sides of the ball will continue into the regular season and hopefully beyond? I have no doubt that it will. I think this is where you start to see that take shape every single year. This is where you start to see these teams gain that identity. And you haven't seen the chippiness and the real physical nature from both sides of the football for your Steelers here in this way in several seasons, and it's hard to just remember every little single detail of every little training camp detail that comes along every year. But you notice the big things like the physicality, the chippiness that's going on. You notice those things, and I got to say that this is not a normal year in that aspect, in my opinion. All right, guys, make sure we're almost 10 minutes in. Make sure you get those likes up. Hit that like button for us here on Steel City Live, our special Saturday show. As we get toward the season, you'll start to see more and more weekend content as the Steelers start to inch toward this 2024 season as the NFL as a whole gears toward kickoff weekend. So you will start to see more and more. I'm trying to go through the list of games and trying to line up some guests that do some content on other teams to hopefully have some insight on those teams that the Steelers are going to face during the season. So I'm trying to line some of that up. So we'll see how this season unfolds, man. And hopefully we'll have some different insight, different looks at different teams and, bring it full circle, man. But I definitely think this style play will continue on throughout the season, man. I just don't think it's a switch you turn off, I think it's a team. I think that type of thing is you either got it or you don't, you either come at it with that aggressive nature or you don't, or you soft or you're not, those types of things. But as always, guys, make sure you're getting those likes up for me for real. I'd appreciate it. And make sure that we are liking, sharing, and putting it on everywhere we can to spread the word of the show and the channel As always, I appreciate it very, very much. Last night was awesome, man. We had double digit. We actually finished up with like 12 new Mafia members. That's the paid subscription, the 99 cents a month subscription. So that was really cool. Thanks to the guys that went and donated those memberships last night, and a couple that weren't donated. So that was really, really cool. So I appreciate that very, very much. G Stacks, LOL, the NFL preseason power rankings has the Steelers coming in 19th. Shaking my head. Man, I seen that, G. I seen that, and I can't take those power rankings not even a little bit serious. Maybe the first couple teams, I could take serious, but everything else I take with a grain of salt, because you look at this and you got these teams sitting with 90-man rosters. And you're in a league and professional sports environment today where there's tremendous amounts of turnover. There's tremendous amounts of injuries and things of that nature. There's no way to really grade any team right now as it sits and put them in a power ranking. I think that's foolishness. I think that's a waste of time. I think there's bigger, more important things to talk about when you're thinking about your favorite football team, or trying to dissect what's going on here in the preseason, in the training camps session or portion of the offseason. So I can't get on board with that. But 19th was absolutely hilarious to me. 19th. It's crazy to me. I don't even know what to say about it. I'm not sure what they're looking at, because there's teams inside of that power ranking that I looked at last year that weren't even sniffing the playoffs that are ranked above the Steelers and things of that nature. I'm not sure where they get that. It's kind of like the foolish Pro Football Focus, statistics that they just, come up with and put so much weight and value on, we're in an all-year news cycle for the NFL, and they just come up with some wild shit sometimes. I just don't think that I don't even know why people waste their time making the list. It's kind of stupid. We are in just a list-driven society with our sports. That's all you see is lists. Let's rank everything. Everything has to be ranked on a list. Some things you can't put on a list. Some things you can't rank, man. Crazy. Everett Kirkland, I love my Pittsburgh Steelers regardless if we get a wide receiver, but if we get Brandon from 49ers, I think we're going to the Super Bowl. I don't think you're going to get Brandon Ayuk, man. If we do, I'll be the first to say I'm wrong on that, but the chance is there, definitely, Everett, and I agree with you 1,000%. If they would get a guy like that, sky's the limit, man. Sky's the limit, especially when you get back a healthy Roman Wilson. You look at a much improved, in my eyes, I think, at least intellectually, another year older, a guy like a Calvin Austin that can blow the top off of a defense. Another year older, another year wiser in George Pickens. A better offensive coordinator, perhaps a better offensive scheme and approach each weekend. And especially when you have valuable weapons in the run game like Najee and Jalen that have been getting so much praise here this offseason and this training camp session so far. You're seeing a lot of praise given to those guys, which is good, really, really good. And you're starting to see this offensive line take shape. That's really good. Sadly, you saw Dan Moore Jr. again, guys, take 3 tough reps, man, today, getting significantly beat. And you wonder, is the door starting to crack for Troy Fautanu to make that starting lineup? And I know people get scared about sometimes getting rookies in there right away. I get that. I get exactly why you would. But, man, I just think how valuable that would be to get all of those guys, all of those rookie guys, plus a Broderick Jones going into year 2, having the 2 elder statesmen in James Daniels and Isaac Seumalo, really anchoring that veteran leadership on that line and allowing this line to really grow. And then you look at guys that you really want to be pumped about. The Spencer Andersons, the Mason McCormicks, those guys that you really can get high on. Those two players, just in particular, off the top of my head, that may step in after, a James Daniels may go to bigger money somewhere or something like that. Maybe the Steelers would rather continue the theme of gaining this offensive line talent, putting it in place, and getting it a little bit on the cheap to where they can really explode and build this roster, and dedicate a lot of money elsewhere to the skill position players, and having the luxury of a really good, young, cheap offensive line. That's a good plan to play, man, in my opinion. Let me get a drink. Make sure you guys hit that like button while I'm getting a drink here. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it. Sean putting him in timeout. That a boy, Sean. That a boy. As always, guys, put your comments, questions, and concerns in there. We are talking a little bit about Pittsburgh Steelers training camp. Lots of things going on. That was a big night last night. There was tons of fans. I think the attendance was listed over 12,000 people at Latrobe High School, which is absolutely crazy to think that they fit that many people inside of that high school stadium. I'm not sure how it looks now. I remember playing there in like junior high school, I think, and high school once or something like that. So I do remember that, and I can't remember the stadium to the T, but 12,000 would be tough if it's still in the same condition or the same, or built the same way in the same layout. I haven't been there in a while. It's crazy though, how they would get that in there. Sorry guys, I'm looking at some of the headlines. I always do when we get on here, as you know. I like to make sure I go through any of the headlines that I see. Yeah, Sierra watches practice. That's not a headline to me, but boy, is it a headline on here. Still. And then you have articles. This one is from Noah Strackbine. This is from the Sports Illustrated article. Steelers hint at starting quarterback. The Pittsburgh Steelers are letting us know who the starting quarterback is. This is from Noah. The Pittsburgh Steelers are waiting for Russell Wilson to return 100 and be able to spend an entire practice on the field with the first team. So they're looking at that. Agreed. Blah, all that. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get through the article here just to see what he had said about that. Russell Wilson takes the first rep of 11 on 11, hands it off to Najee Harris. That was from Brooke Pryor on X. So basically, guys, they're leaning at Wilson like we've been talking about. So that was another headline that I'd seen. Let's keep going. Heard the line of traffic was crazy. Yeah, it'd have to be with that many people, man. That's an absolute tremendous amount of people to fit into a high school stadium. Crazy amounts. Sean, that must be so much fun to go watch these guys under the lights. Yeah, it definitely would be cool. No doubt about it. Though, I did get pissed off at the Steelers media team. And I got to say this, because I thought it was clickbait bullshit, and I didn't like it. And the Steelers I feel like they don't normally do that, especially from the Steelers. It was like the FedEx training camp video to where they like get on there and they talk about the day's camp and all that shit, to where they actually make you think like you're going to get to see camp on YouTube, which you're not going to, maybe bits and pieces. But anyway, they make it seem like you're going to get to see that. And then they have really dry, boring conversation about camp that day. But they had put on there as one of their headlines, Steelers Friday Night Lights. I click on that video and it's the day before. It's like Thursday. Like, quit doing that shit. I hate that. That was so stupid. G Stacks, what position did you play in high school? All over, man. All over. Anthony Morello, hello, how are you doing? Good, man. M. David Dellinger Jr., could we see Fields in early if Russ doesn't produce? And if so, what week do you think? If so, or do you think Russ will have a breakout season? I couldn't give you a definitive answer on when you would see Justin Fields. I could give you circumstantial situations that you would see Justin Fields: injury, poor play, and here's another situation. As this camp continues, if Justin Fields continues to show this coaching staff that he is improved and that he is the guy and that he is the leader of this football team, maybe he forces the hand of the Steelers. I'm going to say that there's probably only about a 10% chance that that would happen. But if I were a betting man, I don't think you would see Justin Fields until many weeks into the NFL season of 2024. I don't foresee a situation happening unless it's an injury. I don't think Russell Wilson, in the way that this system and this scheme is designed and should operate, I truly believe that Russell Wilson will be successful enough to where the Steelers aren't going to be trying to, force Justin Fields into the starting role. So I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if you would call it a breakout season for Russell Wilson, considering he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I could say maybe a resurgence, maybe he has one of those types of years to where he, busts back out onto the scene again and really produces. But you look at last year, and this guy threw only a couple touchdowns less than the NFL MVP on offense. So I don't hate his numbers. I don't love his numbers. As a big group, I don't love him in the overall picture from last year. But he's a veteran, a guy again that's won a Super Bowl, and a guy that can get it done and is in really good shape. And yeah, he has this calf injury, but again, I think the Steelers are being super overly cautious, and I think they're using it to their advantage to get Justin Fields the reps that he needs. And yes, Russ needs them too. But let's face it, guys, if you're planning on Justin Fields to be the number 2, he needs to be comfortable. And what you saw from him in Chicago isn't going to get it done inside of the AFC North. It's just not. It's not going out. It's not going to work. He has to improve, and I think he has. And I'm not knocking him. But that style of play, that amount of turnovers that you saw from him, the large amount of fumbles, the run first, the happy feet, the non-ability or the inability to not be able to process that defense correctly, those things will haunt him inside of the AFC North, and he has to be able to get these reps to start working some of those deficiencies out and get a little bit better. So we'll see, but I don't foresee him playing, right away. We'll see what happens, though. Malachi Smith, hey, man, glad to see you, brother. Good show. Thank you, man. Good to see you, Malachi. Everett Kirkland, how can they say the Bengals will be better than us because Joe Burrow will be back this season? Joe Burrow, scary to me with that injury. The mysterious type injuries, too. What's wrong with his hand? Is it his thumb? Is it his finger? Is it his wrist? Is it his whole hand? You just don't know. Oh, he had a calf injury. How long did that keep him out? How bad was that calf injury? Just like the mysterious nature of some of his injuries and how they occur, and just the frequency of those so far in his short NFL career. The knee, the ACL. Can you rely on some of this? I don't know. There's a pattern there. There's a definite pattern there. Joe Burrow is, an elite talent. When he's healthy, he's super good, man. We can't frown on that, or we can't doubt that, or sit here and act like that's not the truth. A healthy Joe Burrow is really, really good. But I like the Steelers' chances, man. I like the AFC North as a whole being ultra competitive, and I don't think any quarterback inside of this division is just going to walk all over this division with ease and do, great things constantly against divisional opponents and shit. I just don't see that. I think it's going to be a real battle, no doubt about that. But I don't know. Joe Burrow is elite. I mean, if that gets you a little bit of a preseason ranking above the Steelers, cool, whatever. Again, guys, I truly don't even pay attention to those. So it's hard for me to comment on them, it really is. And I appreciate the questions about them, but I just don't know enough about them because I don't pay attention to them at all. Malachi Smith, I feel that we are going to do by far above what the NFL and everyone else is putting the Steelers. I always like to be the underdog, man. I appreciate the beat downs in the media, talking about how bad this team is, talking about how they're not going to be able to do anything. I appreciate that. I like that. And I think the football team as a whole, the organization as a whole, should appreciate that because, I feel like it puts that dog in you, man. It creates that fight, you sit back and these guys aren't blind. They're on social media. They're on all the media outlets and they're listening to all this conversation and they're hearing everything that's said about them. It's motivation and I'm down for it. I would be more concerned if they were all ranking the Steelers one and gonna go and just pummel the NFL as a whole and dominate this season. Then I'd be worried. I really am concerned when that happens, but I love it playing the underdog role, and I think the Steelers have done fairly well in that underdog position throughout the years as this franchise has been. They've had their backs against the walls many times, according to the national media and many of the major so-called news outlets for sports. TD, I don't see Russ is playing in first preseason game. What split in playing time do you think we get between Fields and Allen? I think you see probably first whole half with Justin Fields in game one of the preseason. I don't foresee Russell Wilson to play much or any at all. And if he did, I would say maybe a series or two. That would be the max. I would think that Russell Wilson would be in there. I could see Justin Fields, though, finishing through the first half, then going ahead and giving Kyle Allen that third quarter, and then giving Plumlee. That's his name, right? Plumlee or Jake? I don't know. Whatever his name is, the four-string guy. That's returning kicks, though, too. So that's pretty cool to see. Giving him the fourth quarter. So, what's up, Miss Pittsburgh? M. David Dillinger Jr. Do you think we need to have over 500 record by the time we hit the last 8 weeks? Those last 8 weeks will be a gauntlet. Absolutely. I think you have to be. I think you need to be far above 500, in my opinion, because I think that start is so imperative to gaining momentum for that back half of the season. You don't want to go into that back half after losing games that you really wholeheartedly feel like you should have won. And I feel like it hurt the Steelers last year, and that's why they got in that skid. After you lose a game that you really think that you should win, people are picking you. Everybody thinks that you should win and dominate that game. The team you're playing is coming off horrible performances, and yet you go in there and you take an ass beating and you get dominated and you look foolish. That's momentum killing bullshit, man, and you can't afford that. If you're Mike Tomlin, it is imperative to have a good start this season. And I'm not saying because I feel like it's just ultra difficult in the back half, because I like the Steelers in divisional play. I mean, a team that was 5-1 in the division last year, I got to give you a little bit of confidence. It gives me a little bit of confidence heading into 2024 to face those same divisional opponents, those same divisional quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson never beat the Steelers. The only team that's really given the Steelers fits here as of late since 2020 are the Cincinnati Bengals, in which the Steelers are 4-4, 500 against that ball club. You look at Lamar Jackson and his record against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He don't scare me, man. And if I'm the Steelers, I'm not scared from Lamar Jackson. He don't freak me out, because I think they understand the game plan, the assignment in which to handle and keep him under wraps. And the record shows that. The win-losses show that to me. I know you'll have people and say, Lamar's so great. Lamar's this. He's the best shit, blah, blah, blah. Come on, dude. The record shows, if you're a Steelers fan, I don't know if I get super, super worried about it. I get worried more about the Ravens as a whole, yes, because it's a divisional foe. It's definitely, a divisional opponent that you've had bad blood with for many years. You've played tough matchups against them for many years. The head coaches are super familiar. That worries me, but Lamar specifically doesn't worry me. And none of these quarterbacks worry me inside of this division, except for Joe Burrow. I feel like can beat you if healthy. It is what it is. I like the Steelers, and their record last year showed that they can compete in this division fairly well. I definitely think so. Now, I think these teams have all gotten better I think, a little bit. Maybe the Ravens, in the run game, adding a Derrick Henry, but the Steelers have always played him well also. I just don't know. I'm not super freaked out about the back half. What I'm freaked out about in the back half is the consecutive games against divisional opponents because of how much energy it requires your football team to expunge every single week playing those divisional games. That's what you worry about. Yeah, I think it's super imperative, and I think you need to be way above 500 going into the back half because you are going to probably stumble, guys. You probably are going to lose a game or two here and there. Plus, you sprinkle in the Chiefs and add a little Eagles on top. It's not going to be an easy road to travel. I will say this, though. If the Steelers come out of that back half of the season successful, healthy, looking good, man, you got to like their chances come playoff time. Because that is a hell of a road to travel. What's up, Miss Pittsburgh? Burrow looking the Slim Shady. I hate that haircut, dude. He looks foolish. Thank you, Miss Pittsburgh. Yes, everybody hit that like button for us. Share the show. Thank you, Miss Pittsburgh. Appreciate it. Aloha, G-Stex. What are you looking to see in the first preseason game? What I am looking for mostly, in my opinion, out of that first preseason game is this offensive line. I think that is my main focus. I don't want the Steelers to go out there and give away their blueprint on offense. I don't want them to just throw it all out there week one, but I want to see the improvement from the offensive line every preseason game, and I think that's where my main focus will be week one of the preseason when the Steelers face off against who? The Texans, I believe you guys said yesterday. So that's my main focus there. Which positions and which players are at those positions, rather. Is Dan Moore the guy that kicks it off at left tackle? Does Broderick start at the right tackle? Does the elbow concern the Steelers to where maybe they hold him out of the preseason game and allow Troy Fautanu to get that start at right tackle and just allow Dan Moore to see what he is going to do? Is he going to continue to struggle? There's question marks there. I want to see them all come out healthy. I want to know if Zach Frazier is going to get the lion's share of the reps, or is Nate Herbig going to continue to shine there and continue to be the guy that the Steelers roll with as a veteran? I think it's foolish for the Steelers to do that because if you look at the experience, yes, Nate has NFL experience at center. It's very, very, very limited. However, you look at Zach Frazier and you say there's a guy that has 3 years experience inside of the Big 12 playing a WVU against decent competition. So I feel more comfortable probably riding with him and allowing him to develop. That's just me. But that's what I'm looking at. Offensive line, and I'm looking at that tight end room. And I'm looking to see, too, are they using Connor Hayward in a way that I think that suits them best? That's another thing. Sam Mason, early prediction, 22, Najee, 180 yards in week one in Atlanta. His size looks like 22 in Baltimore, formerly of Tennessee. Huge year for Harris. He's smaller this year. He's lost weight, Sam. So, yeah, he's definitely actually smaller than he's been as of I think, I don't know if it'd be all of his career, but he's definitely trimmer this year. Everett Kirkland, Arthur Smith is a mad scientist. I think both quarterbacks will play and run plays that they are comfortable with to run. That could possibly be, but I got to say this. I don't think you'll see it often. I don't think it'll be splitting quarterback play 50-50. I think that you're asking for trouble if you do that. That's a position that being comfortable, being on a roll, gaining confidence with throws and building throughout a football game is so imperative, and you can't disrupt that all the time. Teams have tried that before, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't. Will there be packages for Justin Fields? Absolutely. I think that will be the case. I think you will see him occasionally, but I do not think the Steelers are willing to go out there and be so gimmicky and sell out to the gimmick. And just try to be something that they're not, and something that has been proven over time not to work. So I don't see that happening. Tom Ford. I just got back from the movie theaters. I watched Deadpool and Wolverine. It was a great movie. How are y'all doing today, Jason? I fear Pickens is going to be another Juju in the case where he was number one wide receiver. I feel like George Pickens is far, far better than Juju Smith-Schuster by leaps and bounds, in my opinion, just by watching them both. Juju had Ben Roethlisberger throwing him the football the majority of the time too. That makes you look a little bit better. We'll see what Juju or what George can do with real NFL quarterback play because we saw what he did with Mason Rudolph, and that was good NFL quarterback play. So I think George is just leaps and bounds above Juju there. I'm glad you saw that movie. I'm glad you said it was good, Tom, because we were just talking about that today in the car when we were at the mall. Wave that towel for Miss Pittsburgh. They got to come out cracking heads. Absolutely, Miss Pittsburgh, they do. Tom Ford, I heard Connor Hayward is going to be used as a halfback. He's played running back before. I don't think you're going to see him as a halfback. H back maybe you're talking about. Well, that's how they should use him, like a Dallas Clark type role. A wing back is what you're talking about, guys. When you talk about an H back, I thought when you said HB, I'm like thinking halfback, because that's like the abbreviation for that. So I get what you're saying now, Tom. Definitely, yeah, they definitely need to utilize him that way. I've been saying that all off season. From the start, that Connor Hayward could be dangerous. I've done several videos on it that I think he can be a mismatch nightmare if utilized correctly in that H-back type role. I think he could be a valuable tool, a valuable asset to this offense, and I think he can bail them out in big moments. I really do. I think he'll create those types of mismatches to where he can create some splash plays. Absolutely. All right, guys, make sure we're hitting that like button as we're about 36 minutes into the show here on a Saturday. We normally don't do them, but now that the season's cracking along, we are back to full swing here, doing content pretty much every day. The Steelers will have practice again tomorrow, Sunday, so we will probably dive in with another show then also. As we continue to just keep unraveling what is going on with this football team and how this team is building. And it's definitely exciting, man. And I know we seem to be harsh, guys, sometimes when we're evaluating and we're talking about these players, but let's all face the facts, man. We like them all because we want them all to do good because that only benefits what? Us, the fans, because that benefits the Steelers as a whole. So, we want them all to do good. We wish no ill will on any of them. We're just trying to give the true reality of the situation. That's what we're trying to do here. We're not going to talk it up and create storylines and over exaggerate situations. We are not going to do that. The reality is the reality, and we have to stick to it sometimes too. X Chapman, do you believe that George Pickens might be the most underrated wide receiver? I don't think he's underrated at all. I think people recognize the talent. I think people recognize what he is able to do as a number one weapon for an offense in the wide receiving room. I think people know that, and I think defenses will know that. And I think they'll adjust, and I think they will definitely double him up. I think they will definitely pay him special attention. In no way, shape, or form do I feel that he is underrated. Maybe if you're talking, fan-wise, maybe people are underrating him there. Maybe people aren't giving him the chance. Maybe they think maybe he doesn't have the most elite quarterback play behind him. I don't know. But I think most coaching staffs, most people in this league know exactly what kind of damage George Pickens can do and how he can completely, absolutely take over a ball game if he is being facilitated the football. I definitely think that, nobody's overlooking him. I don't think so anyway. Everett Kirkland, start Jones left tackle, and the rookie Troy right tackle. We need to start our rookies. I can't agree more with you there, man. I think the young talent has to start. I think they have to be put in place now. I think it's a grave mistake for Mike Tomlin to continually will Dan Moore Jr. out there and for people to continually talk it up like it's a good thing. And there's some people, man, that usually have awesome takes, but then sit there and defend Mike Tomlin's decision to continually will Dan Moore Jr. out there. And I just don't know how people logically come to that conclusion, how they think that that makes sense. The guy just doesn't get it done. Is he decent? Is he serviceable? Absolutely he is. Am I saying he's some horrible player? No. I'm saying that you went out there and you spent significant draft capital on these offensive linemen, these young offensive linemen. Get them in there, get them going. If you see in practice that they're going to need some more time to develop, so be it. Okay, put Dan Moore out there. Do what you got to do. But if you think for 1 second that these guys are ready to go, put them out there, man. Don't wait. Don't continue to wait if you're Mike Tomlin. I think that makes no sense. I think you need in today's NFL to strike while the iron is hot. The salaries are monstrous. The salary cap is a pain in the ass to work all the time. And I think if you're the Steelers, take advantage of what you could possibly have with them. If you take the risk, take the jump, and just put those guys out there, allow them to learn and get good while they're still cheap. Take advantage, man. Don't waste that opportunity. Don't be sitting here 2 years from now going, well, these guys are going to start now, but guess what, guys? Next year we got to pay them $20 million, $15 million a year. Sorry, we're going to have to let some of them walk. We don't want to be in that situation right away. Allow this to get going. Utilize take care of these scouts and show exactly what they've been able to do and what they've found and what the work that they've done, man. Let them enjoy some of the fruits of their labor. TD Anthony, good happening in camp today. I've been busy renovating my kitchen today. Just the Dan Moore stuff, getting beat just badly, dude. Several times, not just once, twice by Alex Highsmith, once by Nick Herbig. Just getting embarrassed almost, guys. And I just don't know how you continue to watch that if you're Mike Tomlin, Arthur Smith, this offensive coaching staff as a whole. I don't know how you continue to just be cool with that. I don't understand it. I heard Max Starks, former Pittsburgh Steeler, Super Bowl winner with the Steelers, talking about how you have to allow offensive linemen to grow and how you have to allow them to figure it out, and you don't want to rush them into starting. And maybe Troy would be better served at guard or something. Well, he's not going to get on the field unless there's an injury at guard. He's not going to upseat James Daniels. He's not going to upseat Isaac Seumalo, especially when you're moving position from what you were drafted. Everybody doesn't have the same situation. And Max was like, well, I started so many games at guard, and then I switched over to tackle. Everybody isn't the same, dude. I get what you're trying to say, and I value your opinion as an NFL player. Maybe not so much as an analyst, but as a player, I value what you got to say. But everybody isn't the same. Every situation isn't going to be the same, man. I don't know, dude. I don't know. That's such a boring show. I hate to say that. It's such a boring show, though. You guys know what I'm talking about. That FedEx camp show or whatever it is. Oh my God, dude. It is like watching paint dry. It is so boring. And I try to watch it because I try to support them here because I'd like to get some glimpses and sneak peeks, if I'm not there and I want to see it, but is it tough to watch. Tom, I wasn't comparing Pickens and Juju's talent. I meant it's same situation. Don't take the kids to see the movie, though. It's definitely a dull film. All right, Tom, thanks for that warning, dude. My 9-year-old wants to see it. I wasn't comparing Pickens and Juju's. Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out what you were meaning. I'm trying to figure it out. I'll think about it. I'm trying to figure out what you was trying to mean there. with the juju and picking stuff. What's up, Justin Meneke? I think I said, what's up? Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I thought it went. Oh, there he is. What's up, Justin? I was going to say, I thought I seen your comment. It's not Dan Moore anymore. It's Dan Less. Yeah, he's less, dude. I don't want to sit here, man, and I don't get off on sitting here bashing people, but we got to face the truth. I don't understand it. Guys, I'm puzzled. Am I missing something with this Dan Moore Jr. situation? Am I missing something with the reluctancy of Mike Tomlin to maybe put some of these younger players in early? Am I missing something? I don't understand the philosophy. I get that you want to give guys time to develop, but I don't know, man. If it's the right choice, it's the right choice. Just do it. He talks all the time. Mike Tomlin says this all the time. And this is the biggest thing, I think, out of everything that annoys me about Mike Tomlin. And again, I like Mike Tomlin. I'm not dogging him completely and saying he's so bad or this or that. But I am going to say this. When I look at Mike Tomlin and he's constantly saying, we don't live in our fears. We don't live in our fears. He says that frequently, probably a couple times a week at his press conferences. And yet, that's all he does is live in his fears. That's all he does. That's all he ever does is live in his fears, man. All right, guys, make sure you put your comments, questions, and concerns inside of the chat. I'm going to grab a drink. Make sure you hit the shit out of that like button. Let's beat last night's likes. We are like 30 or 40 or something like that. So let's get those likes up tonight and get that cracking. Joseph says it seems like Dan Moore does pretty well against Myles Garrett, but not so much against anyone else. Just start more when the Steelers against Cleveland. Yeah, there you go, Joseph. That's probably a good game plan, man. Honestly, you're right. He does seem to do good against Myles Garrett. I again though too. I feel like Myles Garrett's an overhyped ball player. Do I think he's good? Sure, I do, but I think he is so far overhyped because of his size and shit. And yeah, I think he's just way overhyped. I'd take T.J. Watt every day of the week over Myles Garrett, man. I wouldn't. That isn't even a thought. But you are right, though. That is a Dan Moore thing. You'll do well against him, but no, not so much everybody else. G Stacks. My thing of it is, what better way to develop against T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith? That's the best of the best. So why not go ahead and start the rookies? Because not every team has a Watt or a Highsmith. Yeah, you are getting, I mean, you're 1,000% right. You were getting reps against the best defender in the entire NFL and a guy that is super good, in my opinion, and Alex Highsmith. Not to mention some of the depth that you have there. A veteran in Marcus Golden, the guy that just came back to the Steelers. A second-year guy, Nick Herbig, that can provide some real threat on the edge to where you can get some quality reps, who wins a lot of reps at camp also. So, yeah, you're getting that. You're getting those reps. You're getting that quality of play day in and day out. Take advantage of it. That's developing probably more than anything. Absolutely. Wave that towel. Appreciate it, Miss Pittsburgh. Luke, can't say anything bad about Coach T. The man wins and holds players accountable. I'm not going to sit here and say I can't say anything that he doesn't do anything wrong. I think that that's a lie, and I think that that's not right, not accurate in my opinion. He's not good situationally. Let's not lie to ourselves about that. Challenge flags, when he challenges plays, he's poor in that category. Really bad. Time management wise, yeah, you have to admit it's true. Turn on the tape. It's not Jason saying that. It's the truth. He's bad time management wise. Just his overall game management isn't, the greatest. It's just not. As far as how he deals with players, certainly he does hold people accountable, but yet he doesn't hold himself accountable by allowing players to stay in far too long and perform at a horrible rate. and really just be historically bad and allow it to continue to go on while your team suffers and loses as a direct reflection of some of those roster and positional moves that you make as head coach. So, yeah, you look at the quarterback situation last year, allowing Mitchell Trubisky to continue to go out there after you've had Mason Rudolph in the building for 6 years and you had no clue of what he could do, or you were that stubborn to put him in that you thought to yourself, we went out and paid Mitchell Trubisky double-digit millions a year, $10 million a year to come in here and compete and be that guy, either the number one or number two, and we're too stubborn to admit that we really fouled up in that and that we believed your good buddy Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, and you believed that his evaluation was the end-all be-all for Mitchell Trubisky, and you took a flyer on him. You signed him for way too much money. You brought him in. He sucked. Being stubborn, not admitting that. And that's okay. It's his team. He's allowed to do whatever he wants with it. It's his team. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to anybody and sit here and act like I think just being average and backing into the playoffs here and there, not winning a playoff game in a decade is good enough. I'm not going to sit here and act like that's something to cheer about. I think that's a lie, and I think that's what this whole channel is centered around here, is telling the truth, and the truth is that's not good enough. And we can all sit here and prop Mike Tomlin up on a pedestal and act like he walks on water, and that's not the case. We have to evaluate people fairly, and I do. I give Mike Tomlin credit when I think credit is due. I talk about that. I think overall, I think he's a decent coach. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a horrible coach, but I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your asses and act like he has no deficiencies, because that's wrong, and that's a lie, and that's not the truth. And anybody that can watch these games and watch how these seasons unfold with his roster management, with his challenges, with his time management, etc., those things, and you see them continually be bad, you can only make excuses for him for so long. Nate Dogg, who do you think is going to be QB1 week one? Russell Wilson, my friend. Tom Ford, I was just saying, not comparing Pickens and Juju's talent, but it's the same situation. Oh, okay, Tom. I get what you're saying now. I get it. Tom, you didn't have as many likes because I wasn't there. Yeah, no doubt, Tom. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. I get what you were saying now, though. Sidney Wilson, should we start Fields over Wilson? I don't think so. And I'm not saying that Justin Fields doesn't deserve a shot maybe later on throughout the season. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying that Justin Fields hasn't made progress each day and hasn't been coming to work, man, and worked his ass off. I'm not saying that at all. I think he definitely has, and that's exciting, and that's cool. And I think Justin Fields, hopefully will continually get better, and that's just going to be awesome for the Steelers if he ends up being here long term and, for a couple seasons and he continues on this path. But I think the safe bet, the right move right now is to bank on Russell Wilson being that guy. Now, if injuries or something happens and you need to get him in there and you need to make Fields that guy, sure, do it. Do what you got to do. But I think Russell Wilson is that guy for now. Luke, okay, I conceded that he does have his issues. I was just saying overall, can't disagree with your point. No, yeah, and I'm not dogging you on it, Luke. That was in no way, shape, or form trying to bash you at all in that. It was just saying I think there's deficiencies with him, and I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good man overall. I'm not saying that. He seems to really get along with the players, too. That's really cool. But he does have his issues, like anybody else at every position. Nobody's perfect, guys. And that's why, you'll get people on social media that will go to the death, dude, about somebody. And it's like, nobody's perfect, man. They all have deficiencies. They all have things that they can improve on. And that's just what we're talking about. It's no ill will toward anybody, playing or anything. We're just talking about what they could fix and maybe what they could do to get better to win a championship. Brent, what's up, buddy? What's up, man? Tom Ford, Tomlin sucks. When is the last time Steelers won a playoff game? It's been about a decade, man. No doubt, Tom. I won't say he sucks. I won't say that, but he has some major issues he has to work out, and I I hope that this year's that year, Tom. I hope that this year's that year. I really do. But man, I got to be a realist too. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks after, almost 20 years in the league. Let's be honest about that. That's 2 decades almost 2 decades inside of the NFL as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if you expect big sweeping changes, you're really hoping for something that's probably not going to happen because, this guy's pretty much set in his ways by now. Making big changes would take a very big man to do that. And, you don't see that often with these guys that have been coaching as long as Mike has at the top level. Nate Dogg, do you think we are winning a playoff game? I think that the chances are good. Now, do I think that they win more than one playoff game? I think that the chances are probably not. And I'm being a realist with that. Do I think the Steelers go out there and win a Super Bowl this year? The chances are probably not. Do I think that there's some slim chance and some slim possibility? Absolutely. But I think it's just gonna, we have to watch it play out, and that's the excitement of it all. But as it sits right now, as of what I'm looking at right now, I'm not gonna sit there and act like I think they're gonna go into Kansas City and be able to win an AFC Championship game right now. I don't know that. I don't think that that's probably the case right now, but as the season continues to move on, as games pile up, as things unfold, we'll get a clearer and clearer picture each week. So as it sits right now, I think that they can get into the playoffs. I think that they should comfortably get into the playoffs because I like their chances inside of their division. I like the way I think they can start fast this season. So yeah, I think they can win a playoff game. But after that, I'm not betting on or putting anything crazy down on saying that they would win more than one or play in more than one. Everett Kirkland last year, Myles Garrett, bull rush, Dan Moore sack, Kenny Pickett in the end zone. You right, FedEx is dry. Yeah, Everett, I think so too. Yeah, he did do that. I forgot about that, Everett. That was a big play. Good point on that one. Yeah, that was one of Myles' big plays of the year, one of his few. Brent, what's one position group are the Steelers fans not worried about? Whew. I would say that people are pretty confident in the tight end room. I would say that that's probably, and the running backs. I think running backs would probably be the most comfortable, and nobody's probably worried about that because I think people really are comfortable with Jalen and Najee and what they are able to do inside of a Steelers uniform. I think that they have proven themselves and that, the reputation precedes them, and they will definitely get the support, and nobody's really worried about that. And then I think the tight ends, people are comfortable with that group right now, and those are my two. But the biggest one's probably that running back room that nobody's worried about. Luke, odds that Warren has a year that cements his role as running back one. I think the odds are good, actually. I'm not saying that it'll happen, but yeah, I'll say there's a 60-70% chance, that Warren has that type of year that you would really want to be, just solely committed to him. Maybe that happens. I really like the way he plays, and I like his versatility. I think, honestly, guys, though, to be honest, to be totally 1,000% honest, I think the Steelers enjoy and know what they have inside of that running back room right now with the two-headed monster. And I think if they can make it and figure it out financially and keep the salary at a reasonable cost and a comfortable place for both sides, I think that they'll want to keep those guys that they have for a couple seasons. Sadly, the running back position is one that's highly undervalued, highly devalued, and you're not going to see them pour a ton of money into it. You're just not going to see it. Maybe things change over the next couple years with that. I don't know. But I think the Steelers really ultimately like that two-headed monster style play. I think they like the way that these guys do a little bit of different things. Each one has their own special talent per se. I think overall, though, Jalen Warren is way more versatile, in my opinion, in terms of being a receiver out of the backfield. His speed, his agility, and those things. I think his vision's a little bit better. I think Najee, though, is far superior in terms of ball control, not putting the ball on the ground. Najee ability is far superior. I think, in those big moments of needing 1 yard, getting downhill, being able to fight for that. I think that he's more comfortable in those moments. I think Najee's the guy that gets better as the season goes on. I think Jalen's the guy that's more steady throughout the year. So again, each have their own special talent that I think makes them special. Let's win a playoff for T.J. Watt. Nothing would be better than to see T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, those guys that have been here for, many years now, that have really just been leaders, fought their ass off, man, and really went to war for this football team. To see them get a chance to chase the championship, man, I would love to just see them get the opportunity to make a run at it. I'd love to get them that chance just to be in the AFC Championship game and roll the dice, man, and see what happens. All right, guys, we've about been on for an hour. We'll go for a little bit longer. Make sure you hit that like button. That would definitely help us out in the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel here at Mike Drop Sports. Big things coming as the season continues to progress. We appreciate it greatly. Also, last night was a big night. We had 12 new Mike Drop Mafia members. That was awesome. So that was a big night. I appreciate that very much to those guys. So welcome to everybody that joined and is a new Mafia member. That's really cool. But make sure you share everything on your social medias, all that kind of stuff to help continue to grow the channel and the conversation here with thousands of like-minded fans, man. We have we're almost to the 4,000 mark. That's where we are now in terms of subscribers. But again, man, I just want to hit that 5,000 subscriber goal before the season starts. The real season starts, man. So let's get there, guys. And with your help, we can do it. Brent, this is 4 years in a row. Y'all have the hardest division. The AFC East isn't as stacked as the North. No, yeah, Brent, this is a tough division, man. And that's what worries me, guys, about this division as a whole. It's so tough. It's the black and blue division. There's so many. The teams are so even the whole way down through, and the games are so brutal, and they get beat up, and it just worries you sometimes that are they just going to beat the shit out of each other to where, nobody from the AFC North is able to succeed and reach the mountaintop because they just beat the shit out of each other. That worries you, but it is definitely a tough one. The AFC East is definitely a little bit easier, absolutely, but I will say this, though. The AFC is stacked, and it's not easy to come out of the AFC to be the AFC conference champion. It is no easy feat. Joseph, he's talking Everett. Chris D, Steelers Nation. Absolutely, Chris. TD, we're building a great team with Con, and it always takes time. Yeah, guys, everything takes time to build, man. As you see these teams that go through massive rebuilds all the time, man, you see how long it takes them just to get back to sniffing a playoff, a playoff game. It takes time, and we have to applaud the Steelers. They relatively remain competitive, even through so-called rebuilds and things of that nature. They've been able to still be competitive, still be in the conversation. Now, yes, they've been out of the playoff picture as a major player for almost about a decade now, or maybe even more. But they've definitely, hopefully, taken that next step with this roster and how they've built it here as of the last couple years. Sean, roll the dice with Corey Trice. We need that shirt with Corey Trice's picture. Rolling the dice, man. That would be the best shirt of 2024. Roll the dice with Corey Trice. What's up, Derpy? Was at training camp today? I don't know, man. Fields looks pretty good. Yeah, you got to remember, Derpy, and I'm not doubting you. I've been there, and I've seen it in person. I know what you're talking about, and I've seen many videos, and I've seen it all, man, in person, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, he's definitely looks pretty good, but you got to remember what is happening at this camp. What is happening at every camp across the NFL. There is no way you get hit as a quarterback in the pocket. There is no pass rush that is going to get to you. Yes, there's pass rush, but it is a lot more easy to be comfortable and make decisions when you know you're not going to get your clock cleaned. Now, when real action happens, you might start to see some of those things again that were major deficiencies. Happy feet, not able to make the right decision, too quick to run the football, fumbling the football, not being confident, not being able to process the defenses, not being able to get through your progressions correctly, not being able to throw people open in those situations. You may see those things all rear their ugly head yet again. And I got to caution you. You cannot get overhype about anything in this preseason, man, especially the quarterback play, because you cannot truly evaluate guys that can't get hit. You cannot truly evaluate guys that aren't playing in the real game type environment. They're just not. Now the other positions, they're taking contact. They're doing the things that they're going to do inside of a real game. The quarterback, not so much. Not so much. And we have to take that into consideration, and we have to be truthful with one another. Browns are the Browns, and the Bungles are the Bungles. You ain't lying there, Derpy. The real Planet X Hunter. We are going 7-10 this year. I think 10-7, 11-6 is more realistic to me. Especially with a team that went 5-1 within the division last year. I don't know how we can just sit here and discount that 5-1 record inside of the AFC North last year. I don't know how you can discount the record the Steelers hold since 2020 against these guys within the division. We sit here in 2024. I just don't know how we overlook those things and how we discount them and just automatically count the Steelers out as like some, bottom cellar dwellers. I just don't understand that logically, how that makes sense. I just don't see it. Deshaun Watson had never beat the Steelers. Has never won against the Steelers ever. Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they are 4-4 against the Steelers since 2020. The Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson are 1-7 against the Pittsburgh Steelers since 2020. I'm not fearful of the division, and I think the Steelers could win enough non-divisional games to get them to where they need to be, to where 7-10 doesn't seem realistic to me. Nate Dogg, okay, aside from the Steelers, who would you like to see in the Super Bowl this year? Nobody. That's an easy question for me, Nate. Nobody. The real Planet X Hunter. Texans versus Chicago for Super Bowl. That's crazy, dude. I could give you the Detroit one. Texans don't shock me because I think C.J. Stroud is the real deal, but please never say Chicago on here. That's craziness. Caleb Williams will be the most monumental bust of all time. Offside edit said, hey, Mike Drop, do you think the Steelers actually have a chance to get Brandon Ayuk? Love the channel. Thank you, Offside edits. Appreciate you. I think there's a chance. I'm not saying that it's that it's impossible. I'm not saying that. But if I'm going to weigh it out and think realistically, I'm going to say that it's significantly low of a chance that they get a Brandon Ayuk. Do they add another wide receiver? I would say that there's, 50-50 chance. Another team's going to have to want to do business with the Steelers, and it's going to have to be a player that the Steelers are interested in, and it's going to have to be the right price. And there's going to be a lot of variables that come into play here. So I'm going to say that, yes, there's a slim chance, but I'm going to say that it's probably 95% probably never going to happen. The real Planet, new QB, new system. Yeah, that don't mean nothing in the NFL. Man, they run pretty much all similar shit. All the terminology changes and stuff, but there's only so many play concepts that you can run. You know what I mean? You have to look at it as a realist too. Sean, people keep talking as if the Steelers can't do better than last year with no linebackers, shitty QBs, and a shitty O-line. I don't understand. I don't either. We had a center that rolled the ball back to the quarterback 90% of the time. If you're the Steeler fan, you've seen that constantly. The quarterback play was absolutely atrocious until the final 4 games of the season. No linebackers to speak of after week 5 or 6. You were totally decimated at the position. And I think you've improved at all those things throughout the offseason. And this was a team that still went 5-1 within the division. So I have to like their chances. The Steelers have improved in many ways. They should have better season this year. They should, on paper, no doubt about it. I agree. Danny George, exactly, Sean. I'm giving the Steelers 7-10 due to Wilson playing. He's past his prime. I think he's past his prime, but I think he still has good years left in him. And I think with this system that you guys have pointed out, it's a new system. Yes, it's an Arthur Smith style system. And this system is tailored to exactly everything that Russell Wilson does well. So I can't see that. We'll revisit it though. We'll see what happens. Epic Expeditions 5-1 against the North with Trubisky Pickett. Come on, guys. Joseph, he's talking to Sean. Marcus Miller, do you think Najee will be here next year? No, I do not. I think Najee will be somewhere else. I don't think he'll be willing to take any type of money that the Steelers want to give him. Maybe things change. Maybe the Steelers give him an offer he can't refuse, but I'm going to say that it's probably a 70% chance that you see Najee Harris inside of another helmet next year. I think that there's a, less than 50, probably about a 30% chance that we see Najee Harris gain that extension. And if that extension is going to happen or that new contract is going to happen, I don't think the Steelers will be able to get it done next offseason. I think they would have to get it done here before the regular season starts. And I think that's the only way you continue to see Najee Harris inside of a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform for years to come. Everett Kirkland, we are better than last year. Omar made good moves last year with the quarterback, offensive line, linebacker, DB. We are winning 12 games. Yeah, I could see it happening. I think we are definitely better on paper, no doubt about it. All right. Offside edits. I don't see the Steelers going 7-10. The floor is 10-7. Roof is 14-3. Look what Russell could do in Denver with a much less talented roster. I agree. Definitely. I don't think Russell Wilson is completely washed. I definitely think that he can still get the job done. Do I think, yes, he's aging? Yes, that there are concerns there with that? Absolutely. But I just don't think it's going to rear its ugly head and be some major thing this year with his age. All right, guys, let's start wrapping this show up. If there's anything else you want to put in there, we've been going for about 70 minutes, so make sure we hit the shit out of that like button before you leave. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as we continue our march toward 5,000 subscribers. We got to get to 4,000 first, but we are almost there. Let's just keep on going. I appreciate all the support. Joseph, I think Najee and Jalen both are going to have career years this season once our O-line gels. Yeah, and that's the biggest intangible or the biggest variable, Joseph, in this whole thing. It's the O-line. And does Mike Tomlin make the mistake? Does he continually will Dan Moore Jr. out there? Does he continually watch poor play like he did last year when a guy struggled, when several guys struggled, like Dan Moore Jr., like Mason Cole? Does he continue to just watch them struggle and refuse to take them out and disrupt the roster? Does he have far too much loyalty to some of these guys? I think that's a big question. And a lot of that lays at Mike Tomlin's feet from last year. He could have made changes. What's the difference from last year, guys, for Nate Herbig to be center? When you're Mike Tomlin and you watch Mason Cole historically suck, not just play bad, not just have moments of playing bad. I'm talking historically horrible center play for the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. And you had Nate Herbig on the roster, whom you wheeled out here as the first team starter here in 2024 at the center position. What in the hell is the difference from less than 12 months ago till now? What's the difference? I don't understand that. Please tell me the logic in how this all of a sudden, changed, or, how all of a sudden Nate Herbig became, way better at center. Come on, dude, come on. Come on, guys. Open those eyes. It was poor roster management from Mike Tomlin. That was a poor decision, and it's okay. Mike doesn't walk on water. We are allowed to admit that. He made a mistake, big mistake. Dan Moore Jr. playing left tackle. Maybe that had to be done at times last year because you didn't have a suitable replacement. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But man, those were big moves. Big problems. Marcus Miller, with Justin getting all these practice snaps, what are the odds of him being QB1? I think probably like less than 5%, Marcus. I think Russell Wilson will start the season as QB1, and I think that, barring injury and things of that nature, that's why I'm giving him like a 5% chance. But I think it's a very, very slim chance. Thank you, Miss Pittsburgh. Good night, Everett. See you, man. Kevin Schroyer. Tomlin wasn't qualified for the job. Should have been Arians or Ken Wisenhunt. The real Planet X Hunter. Tomlin isn't qualified at all. Don't like Tomlin. A Camp 162. Arthur Smith with you guys. Quarterback room and running back room is going to be impressive to see. Plus, Arthur Smith help improve the Falcons' offensive line into a top 5 offensive line. You guys will be fine, by the way. I'm a Falcons fan. Yeah, I would have been. I would have been curious to see how Arthur would have did with a few more years there in Atlanta. I think some franchises, jumped the gun a little bit. Now, I think there's the other extreme, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers, to where they let things maybe just get stale and old, and maybe they're too loyal. But I think some franchises may jump the gun a little bit too much. Don't allow coaches to actually get themselves a program built, a program to be successful has to be built over many years. It's just not typically, one hit wonder and then you're on a roll. That's not typically how it goes. Joseph, I agree. Put those young guys in. If that's who you drafted them for, get them in there, and that's how they learn and get accustomed to the NFL. Absolutely. Kevin Schroyer, if Cowher's wife didn't get sick, he'd still be the head coach. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. Real Planet Hunter X. Yep, I do miss Cowher, the chin. A Camp agreed. All right, guys, I'm going to start wrapping it up. We've been going for almost 75 minutes. That's a long-ass time here for us. So that's our wrap up here on Saturday. I'm going to continue on the Dan Moore Jr. Hashtag of sit Dan Moore. I think that's what we need to start. That hashtag sit Dan Moore Jr. Sit his ass on the bench. Get rid of him or something. Do something. Get him up out of there. I think it's time, and I think that needs to be the new battle cry for us fans. And hopefully maybe Coach will see that and maybe make a change. But we saw how stubborn he was last year, guys, and I'm telling you, think about that. Think about that bullshit. Nate Herbig is the starting center right now in camp on the depth chart, the number 1 guy. And literally, Mike Tomlin watched Mason Cole totally disrupt this offense in 2023. And I'm going to say cost them big time. I'm not going to say he cost them games and shit like that. I'm not going to go that far. But I'm going to say he cost this offense greatly in major situations and played historically bad. And Mike Tomlin sat there idle, allowed it to happen, never made a change, as did what he did with the quarterback position, and didn't figure it out until it was far too late. That's just the facts. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. Tom Ford, Terry Bradshaw sucked the first 3 or 4 games he played. That's why I had faith in Rudolph. Yeah, Terry didn't do good until what, year 5? Planet Hunter X, good night, bro. Love the channel. We'll subscribe. Thanks, Real. Appreciate you, man. Tom Ford, Mike Tomlin makes too many mistakes. Absolutely, Tom. There's a lot of mistakes he does make. He needs to fix them up. And hopefully he's man enough to step up to the challenge this year and fix those mistakes. And just be truthful, man. That should be the motto of the Pittsburgh Steelers here in 2024. Be true. Be truthful to yourself. And especially if that's Mike Tomlin, be truthful, man. And think about this shit in a true way. That's how you got to approach it, man. Got to approach it. That and being aggressive. But anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And we're going to wrap it up again. Thank you for stopping by here at Mike Drop Sports and the Show, Steel City Live, our daily live stream as we talk Pittsburgh Steelers NFL football from all around the league. And we do it up here every single day. So this is a place for you to have your voice heard. We answer pretty much every damn question in the chat, and I don't think you'll find that many other places. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you know exactly when we upload new content and go live and have our live show each and every day. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Peace. See you tomorrow.